All right, is everyone ready to rock and roll?
Yeah.
All right. What's that? Yeah, I'm just about to keel over. All right. It's good to have those breaks though, because we're not just disembodied heads in glass jars. We've got a body that needs to walk around. Okay, so we're going to have a look at a prophecy in Zechariah, which people read and they don't get. So Zechariah chapter 5, verses 5 to 8. Then the angel that talked with me went forth and said unto me, Lift up now thine eyes and see, what is this that goeth forth? And I said, What is it? And he said, This is an ephah that goeth forth. He said, moreover, this is their resemblance through all the earth. Now, an ephah is just a measure, a dry measure. So it's sort of volume, weight sort of thing. He said, moreover, this is their resemblance through all the earth. And behold, there was lifted up a talent of lead. And this is a woman that sitteth in the midst of the ephah. And he said, This is Hareshah, wickedness. And he cast it into the midst of the ephah, and he cast the weight of lead upon the mouth thereof. So wickedness is being put in a basket, and it's depicted as a woman. Now I hope women aren't offended, because there's a bride. So there's a bride, but there's also a whore. There's this thing called wickedness. And where is this woman that is put in a basket going? Let's read on. If I turn my pointer on, that helps. Okay, so wickedness is returning to where? Then lifted up mine eyes and looked, and behold, there came out two women, and the wind was in their wings. Okay, so these are unusual women for a start, because they have wings. For they had the wings like the wings of a stork. And a stork is an unclean bird too, by the way, unclean to eat. And they lifted up the ephah between the earth and the heaven. Then said I to the angel that talked with me, Whither do these bear the ephah? And he said unto me, To build... It says it, but in Hebrew her, to build her a house in the land of Shinar. Now Shinar, not China. Shinar. And it shall be established and set there upon her own base. So we read about Shinar in Genesis chapter 11, verse 2. You can check it out for yourself. It's a very, very special place. So what happened in Shinar? Tower of Babel. So this is a prophecy about wickedness coming to the area where the Tower of Babel was built. It's a prophecy of the re-establishment of last days Babylon, as I understand it. Now, it's very interesting what's going on with NASA, our friends that tell us we evolved from monkeys and we're going to set our nest amongst the stars. It says in Obadiah regarding Esau, it says, Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest amongst the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith Yahweh, saith the Lord. Now, when people read a lot of the scriptures, they read it like it's a nursery rhyme. But when I read this sort of stuff, I especially when I started learning Hebrew, it slowed me down. And so when I slowed down, I was forced to take it in. So when I read this, I go, okay, well, Esau's going to set his nest amongst the stars. I actually take that literally. He's going to go up. They're not only just building deep underground bases. If there's any truth to that, I don't know. I haven't been there, but I've heard lots of stories. We know that in the last days that men will hide in the dens of the earth. Well, I think Uncle Sam's been building some of those dens, and maybe others also. So, Esau is an interesting sort of fella, because where Jacob is, there is Esau, because Esau was promised in the blessings to serve his brother Jacob. And by the way, not all Esau is bad, but in this particular case, Yahweh is not too happy with Esau because of his ancient hostility towards his brother Jacob, and because of his pride. It's very interesting because it says, "Though thou exaltest thyself as the eagle," and what is the symbol of America? Now, I'm not saying all Americans are Esau, but it's very interesting that but I do believe Esau is in America as well as Jacob. It's the land of the Pilgrims and Freemasons. It's wherever Jacob is, there's Esau. And there's a prophecy about Esau heading to the stars. Now, I've got a pet interest in the stars and heavenly things. I love the thought of going and exploring. I think that's cool. And I don't think God is against being an adventurer, but he's narrowing down in on Esau because of the attitudes of the heart, because of his attitude towards his brother Jacob and his attitude of pride. So I believe that in the last days we're going to see some stuff. And just as a sideline, I've been watching NASA go round and round in the space shuttle for 30 years, as I like to say, doing urine samples in space. Not really going anywhere. And I'm going, why are you going round and round in circles and not going anywhere? Well, maybe they've been developing some things in their basement. I don't know. Maybe they've been doing some things. That's all speculation. I don't know. But I do know that Esau is going to exalt himself as the eagle and set himself amongst the stars. So, as Babylon comes together, I believe also we're going to see some stuff that's out of this world. And I know that there's all sorts of speculation, and some of it goes from perhaps possible to the ridiculous. And I don't know where that line in the sand is. I do believe that we're going to have the Nephilim in the last days. We're going to have when it came time for Israel to return to the land, out of Egypt, who was there in the land? There were giants in the land. It seems that Satan knew the game plan. He thought, well, I'm going to put some of my hard men in there, and they're going to scare everybody and go, "Urgh." But Joshua and Caleb were men of faith, and they went, it doesn't matter how big they are, they're still going to fall. And the Lord's going to lead us into battle and destroy them. And he did, but not with that generation. He did, but thankfully both Joshua and Caleb, after 40 years, they got to do what they said they could do. But this time with a new generation that trusted in the Lord. So I believe that there's some things that NASA's getting ready for, and I'm just watching what's going on there. I think there's we've been indoctrinated in the West with evolution, and along with that, we've now got this transhumanist sort of thing that we can upgrade ourselves, and along with that, there's another heresy about aliens and all this sort of stuff. Because if we evolved, other beings have evolved, and maybe they can lead us in enlightenment. But maybe E.T. comes from down below my feet, more than above my head. And if that's the case, he can phone home tomorrow and get out of town, because I don't want anything to do with him. So I'm expecting some things to happen with regard to all of this out of this world sort of stuff, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if what's being cooked up is related to us leaving this country and creating some havoc and turmoil. I don't know I know that there's been FEMA camps built throughout the United States by the baddies. And I don't know what excuse they're going to use to put people in them. Maybe it's some sort of alien sort of invasion thing. That's pretty out there. Maybe it's just because there's natural disasters going on and they say, come on and be safe. I don't know what excuses they'll use, but I'd advise people not to go to those places, as I've said before. So I'm looking at prophecy and I'm taking it literally. I don't take it as poetry. I take a very literal kind of view of it. So we'll find out. There's nothing hidden that won't be revealed. So if we don't know now, we'll know later.